any good mobile OS needs an app store for people to find apps to install. And so we're going to be making our own, and it's going to be completely centralized. There will be no fees for apps to list on it and have their, basically, it won't be any of the restrictions that there are currently today on Google Store and the Apple's App Store. Just as a reminder, Google and Apple take 30% of every transaction that happens on an app that is distributed via the store. So this is already a massive win for app developers that want to push these Web3 features, but obviously don't want to give up 30% of the revenue. So the App Store is kind of what I'm working on, and working in conjunction with Stipe, which is doing the website of it, so that people can upload their APKs and kind of describe their apps from a web app. And then on the Android side, we have a little app working that fetches the data from a smart contract that's deployed right now, and basically displays a app store experience as you would expect. So right now we have this flow working. We can fetch data from the chain, from on-chain data and IPFS data, show it in a nice little UI on an app, and basically being able to browse those apps and download them and install them on your phone. So obviously this is like super early. All of these three big arcs have so much depth to it. It's actually kind of crazy. Like we could take one of these and like really spin up an entire team on it. But we're gonna go steadily towards the goal. The nice thing is that we know kind of what we want to achieve, and so I really think we can get there. And progress is being done really nicely with this kind of like impromptu team that just formed together with a common ideal. So yeah, that's for the Dapp Store Android app. Stipe, you wanna explain a bit how the web portal works?
Yeah, sure. And apologies if you hear any weird screaming noises. My son just ran into the room. So basically, like Joe said, the chain is the source of truth for the data, for the apps. And we try to keep the data that we deploy to the chain lightweight, which means that we need to store the APKs, the Android app file somewhere else, and that somewhere else is the IPFS. And so all the additional data about the app, like the description and the logo and the things like APK, they all end up in IPFS, and then we kind of write that data onto the blockchain to kind of freeze it, create like a source of truth point along the way. And so the Dev portal is a Web3 application where you can connect with your wallet, create an app, deploy it, upload your APK, deploy it to the chain, and then you have a nice little list of your apps, and you can further interact with those apps. I would say that we've made pretty good progress. All the major happy paths are covered. We've hit like a few snags along the way, nothing major, but it's something that we're kind of working on increasing. One of those things is for example, increasing the APK size that you can upload and a few similar things. Nothing crazy, but the main flows are working, and Joe can actually pull down data from the App Store in ethOS, which is awesome. So we have that path working.
Cool. And maybe if there's time in the end, we can show some designs or something to give people a better idea. But thanks, Joachim and Stipe. Nicola, you want to talk about the next big piece, which is our wallet bridging?
Yeah, sure. If you ever used a mobile wallet on the web apps, you will probably have noticed that the process is really cumbersome. You go on the app, it generates your QR code, you have to scan it, and then you have access to transactions. But if the wallet goes in the background mode, then you have to do everything from the start. we have two goals with the wide bridging, and the first one is to make the user experience when interacting with wallets and the apps more streamlined. And the second goal is to allow mobile-first developers to have an API that allows them more to create apps that can more easily interact with other apps or wallets on Android. And in the first version, we will support wallets that are Wallet Connect compatible, but later on, the grand vision will be to create somewhat of a standard in which Android wallets can interact with dApps. And we are currently working on it, and as we gather more, as we go forward, we will show you the progress that we are making.
Cool. And finally, Marcus, you'll want to talk about Lightnode and potentially how folks on the call can help us test.
Yeah, sure. So we've been working hard to integrate the Lightnode into ethOS, and we got a first working version. So at the moment, if you install ethOS on your device, you will be having a running Lightnode at all times. But there's still like a lot of work to do on the efficiency frontier for the Lightnode. So basically, we chose the Pixel 3 device, the Google Pixel 3, as our testing device. And with the Lightnode running at all times, we get about 10 hours of battery life, which is not really amazing, but I think passable for MVP. So what we strive to do is to really make it more efficient and make the Lightnode experience like it doesn't even exist on the device for the user. The Lightnode, of course, has a lot of features which are great for developers and users. So the user can basically connect to the blockchain trustlessly without having to trust Infura or Alchemy. And for the app developer, of course, they don't have to pay any API fees to Infura or Alchemy. So this is also very, very good for the app developer. For testing, we, as I said, we chose the Google Pixel 3. If you have a Pixel 3, you can install the ethOS test version right now. If you want to build it for your own device, you can do that, but it's not guaranteed to work at the moment. You can still try if you want, and if you run into any issues, you can always hit me up on Discord, and I will help you guide through it, so we can expand support for more devices into the future. But at the moment, we are just testing with the Google Pixel 3, so we don't have like extremely like a lot of devices to support at the moment. Yeah. For the testing, if you installed ethOS and you're running into any stability issues or feature requests even, you can always write a message into the testing channel on Discord, and I will get to that. Thank you.
Cool. We're running slightly ahead of schedule. So at this point, if anybody has any questions for things we just talked about, maybe this is a good point to shout them out.
Actually, I wanted to add one more thing. So we need testing, obviously, but also if you're interested in helping out in any of these three big arcs of work, we need engineering power to help out. There's so much to do. In particular, if you're proficient with Android development, AOSP in particular. So this is like deep Android stuff, but also web development, any blockchain infra knowledge is helpful as well. So yeah, if you wanna lend your skills there to help the cause and bring a true permissionless mobile OS out there and make it happen, we need your help. So make yourself a version.
That's fun. Any questions?
Yeah, I have a question. How do we become involved as a developer?
Yeah, so Discord is where everything is happening right now. Make yourself visible in there. Like basically, you say like, hey, I want to help on X, and now that you know a little more like what the 3 big arcs work, pick one basically and start, and we'll start interacting and iterating and see where you can fit. It's all very organic, to be honest. Like this is just, if people want to help out, they can help out. But obviously, it takes a little bit of self-motivation and initiative. Yeah, basically,
True.
if you come forward, we will find work for you. But also, we appreciate just people starting to explore, maybe asking questions, and then finding what they're just starting to do stuff, because that's basically how everything's been happening so far.
True. I made a little document, like a little project overview. I will send it into the general chat right now. It's a draft, but it should provide a general overview of how the project is set up. So the different repositories and stuff.
Awesome, thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, +1. I think the core team here today, we just found each other talking on Discord. So +1 to what Joaquin was saying. We didn't really know each other before, just started asking questions, exploring, working on it. And now we are working on it together. So the ways for new people to get involved is pretty much the same. And just reach out and we'll see how you can fit in. Other questions? Okay. We'll have more time, so if you think of more questions, there will be more opportunities. With that, Mark, you want to talk about our upcoming roadmap?
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, Rish, is it possible you could just pull up the roadmap on your screen since it's right there?
Yep.
Awesome. Thank you. First off, just like thanks everybody for being here. I hope it would be great if we could see a little bit of a screen share, some examples of what we have, like designs or there's a lot of work that's been done to this point already. And I'm going to share, I think Joe and Stipe and Nico and Marcus shared some of that, but I think it's hard to appreciate actually just how much work they've already done and some of the alpha versions of the ethOS and then the Centralized App Store are already there and usable. So anyway, yeah, thanks for coming. There's a lot has happened quick. It was I think only 2 months ago or so since we had our the manifesto and this Discord came together. So I'm going to share a little bit about just talk about the roadmap for the first 6 months. This is kind of a living document, but we want to give an idea to everybody about kind of our goals in the short term, and then and these will be modified as we go, and as we hit our goalposts, and then we will be sharing shortly thereafter more like of a long-term roadmap. And your feedback is going to definitely help inform this, and especially the testing once we start releasing builds. The first thing, which we actually was just we just addressed, was recruiting. So as we say, it's so early. We're really, this team kind of just organically came together around this idea. As Joe kind of mentioned, we're kind of selecting for engineering is great. We really need engineering. We're kind of selecting for initiative. If you want to, work your way into this, core development, just work your way into this core development by, you know how to do it. Be persistent. And if you're passionate, it's just going to happen. And we need people like that. So it's kind of just selecting for initiative and passion. This is definitely a passion project. And so, but in addition to engineers, we're going to need, designers, writers, as we build a knowledge base, and coordinators, for these different parts that we're building. As Joe said, could be more than one project. It's pretty ambitious, but that's what's I think exciting about it too. The second part of the roadmap for that 6 months is really like kind of, there's going to be still, plenty of organic development around this core team. The second part is around the product. So as our current engineering team shared, our MVPs for ethOS, the MVP for ethOS is actually quite close to be done. Like as this includes the lineage fork with the native wallet, the light client running as a system service, as Marcus said, that's already there and it's being optimized. The wallet bridge, as Nico has shared, that's still in development. And then it's right at this time, it's like Marcus said, ethOS is going to be flash installed by the user. And we're focusing on Pixel 3 first, but we will in time try to expand support to other devices. As far as the Centralized App Store, I think that you guys covered this, but the goals for the first 6 months are that ethOS users can find, download, and install their APKs from the store. And on the dev side of that, devs can upload these APKs to IPFS, list them with our smart contract, and then they can manage those APKs that they've uploaded, and that we build a knowledge base for devs to help them do that more easily. And then the third kind of goal, part of the first roadmap for the 6 months is around community. What we want to do is attract more folks like yourself that are interested in the project, interested in being testers, help us not just build, but test, break, and fix what we release. And then also we're going to, build more support around that community, try to create a system, efficient system of cycling of, releases, testing, and feedback and updates around the builds. We got a lot of like cool stuff kind of planned that's not on this roadmap. But in terms of, as we've been working on this, it's my, excitement from the standpoint of, I drafted like the first version of the manifesto and like was really excited about the possibilities, but now getting together with this team and actually starting to like, share ideas around it and run into challenges, but then see what's possible. It's like my excitement's only grown at some of the really unique attributes of having, the OS layer available for Web3 and for development. So that's in terms of the first 6 months. That's kind of where we're going. Like I said, we'll be like updating this roadmap and going for a longer term. I'm happy to answer questions regarding it, at the end. I think, and Rish, I'll hand it off to you. Rish, you want to talk about kind of why we're doing what we're doing, what's guiding us?
Yeah. Cool. Thanks, Mark. Let's quickly talk about how we are thinking about how this product is being developed. And then I'll pause for questions for both the roadmap and anything on the principles. So we just walked through where we are and what our next upcoming plans are. And then it's worth quickly also sharing how we are thinking about building this product and how we think we are going to create the next, not just 6 months, but years-long development cycle and how the product's going to evolve. So in the short version of this is that we are guided by 3 main principles. On the user side, we want our users to have privacy, transparency, and control. On the product side, we want our products to be simple and intuitive to use. And then foundationally, we want our ethOS operating system to be free, open source, and decentralized. This document is public, it's living. You can see it in our Notion. I'll share the link in the chat. And these principles will evolve as we grow, and we'll continue to learn more and share more with all of you. But what this essentially means is on the user side, and you'll see some of the detail here, is we believe in being transparent with what the operating system is doing, and wherever we can protect the user's privacy, and also wherever we can give users the control so that they can kind of toggle around how they utilize their data within the overall Web3 ecosystem. When it comes to using the product, we fundamentally believe that we can't really succeed unless our product is as easy to use as the current operating systems in the market. If we make something harder to use, it's harder to get traction, and we aren't really servicing our goal of creating a decentralized operating system, because the mass market is unlikely to go utilize something that's hard to use. Obviously, in our current MVP stage, it is harder to use. You have to go flash a Pixel 3 device and then set it up manually, and there's a huge barrier to entry. But that's just how we are getting started, and this is obviously the alpha tester time where only people who are on the very bleeding edge of trying out new products will go try this out. However, over time, we envision that this will get increasingly easier to use. You can buy devices with this operating system, and when you do use the operating system, all the complexity of Web3 will be sort of behind a veil, where you can go interact with it as you would like, but otherwise the operating system will be easy, simple, and will take care of the complexity. A lot of this is where our work into things like wallet bridging and light nodes and system services come into play. And then foundationally, we think the operating system should be free, should be open source. Other people should be able to develop on it, extend it, and how we think about it should be community driven and decentralized, similar to how true Web3 products today are being developed. So the calls we have here and the feedback we get from you is very important in figuring out how we manifest this operating system and how it evolves, and how things like the Decentralized App Store or any other future government decisions are made, so that we can think about how users are served from the perspective of users instead of a centralized authoritative body. And that's essentially it. We'll come back, and if anything evolves, we'll come talk about it. But that's where we are starting. So let's pause there. Questions or comments on either the roadmap or the principles?
Rich, I'll add something. I just, it just came to mind when you're talking about the product principles. Although, obviously in the beginning, flashing a Pixel 3 and then using these builds are going to be not as intuitive as the current operating systems. One of the reasons why I think one of the advantages we're going to have is that when you're using Web3, the other operating systems are making it, less intuitive to use. And we're going to have some, advantage, at least when it comes to using Web3, just by the nature of what we're building.
Yeah, plus one. I think like simple things like using a wallet, connecting to a Dapp, or even having transactions, like the way Apple or Google think about crypto transactions and how App Store fees work is really not in line with how we imagine the Web3 ecosystem to evolve. So absolutely, as we get more decentralized, I think we'll have an advantage, like you said, simply by being Web3 native. If there are no questions at this point, Noggington might be able to share some designs for some of the work we've been doing here, given we have some additional time. You want to take over?
Yep, I'm happy to. Let's see. I think it's really interesting when, as a designer, if you're kind of thinking about the possibilities of what Ethereum integrated at a hardware level might look like. And so because it's kind of, unknown territory, most of the design work that we're doing right now is kind of exploratory. And then also we're helping, Joe and Marcus and Stipe build out the tools to the user interface for some of these items. So a lot of really cool opportunities. One thing that I think really captured the kind of essence of what we're doing is we have another designer that works with us. It's Rahul, and he did a really great job of coming up with a kind of with a prototype for how we might be able to integrate some of these features on a system level. I'm trying to pull it up right now. Give me just a few moments here. I'm making sure that I'm broadcasting the right thing. Figuring this out. If there's any questions from the audience, I know that we just went to questions. That's feel free to ask.
Yeah, I just had a quick thing. So based on what I've been seeing, it seems like the most successful projects in the space are projects that are 10 times better than what the traditional world offers. So for example, Uniswap has way more tokens listing than like Coinbase, for example. I think like without having a strong, like we can be in a very strong position if we can offer our product, which is a lot better than the status quo, in addition to just like more decentralization. So I'm wondering if the team is thinking about, in terms of product, like if we can make the experience, not only the decentralization part, but also the experience a lot better than like, the Apple Store. I don't know, I just wanted to like throw it out.
Yeah, I'm happy to take this one actually. This is exactly why we started the whole thing, right? Because two big pain points. The first one, like as a user, the wallet experience on mobile right now, I don't know if you use any kind of Web3 products on mobile, but it's kind of painful, right? Like we don't have browser extensions on mobile. And even if we did, it still doesn't address the problem of native apps or like games even. Like imagine you're in a little game and you want to like, buy or sell your NFT and stuff, right? You need to have a connect wallet button that kind of takes you out of the game and pops you to another wallet. You need to accept that, then come back to the game, probably reloads. And like 1 out of 3 times it just drops the connection or just doesn't work. It's been like, that's been the main frustration for me, at least, to come in and to try and build this. The wallet bridging, I think, is going to be so much nicer. Like we can do so much better if we control the system level of what happens when you click that button of connect or transact. And actually, I think maybe Nogginton can show some of the flows we're thinking, but like you can already imagine it in your head, right? Like that should just be like click, fingerprint, done type thing, right? And then the other thing is the App Store itself. Like it's gonna look pretty similar to a regular App Store, but this is more for developers. Like I'm an app developer, I'm a mobile developer, and if I wanted to build a little Web3 game or app and put it on the App Store, it would just get rejected. Like I just can't do it right now. Either we'll get rejected or I have to have a deal with Google or Apple to somehow pay them 30% of my crypto transactions, which is not even possible today, like cleanly. I would have to pay them from my bank account type thing. So it's just not possible. So like these two massive pain points are not about decentralization. They're actually about just user and native app developers problems that are literally impossible today.
Oh yeah, that totally makes sense. If I can just maybe ask a quick question about like, so if we make this a totally open source project, I'm wondering what's stopping companies from coming in and providing in like an excellent phone using this operating system and sort of like monetizing on it and making it more central. Like, have you guys thought about that as well?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple different aspects to that. I don't think there's anything stopping anybody from providing a great device using this operating system. Similar to Android, right? Anybody can make an Android device, but customers choose the Android device they want based on a variety of factors, ranging from the hardware itself to user experience to the different skins. Like Samsung, for example, builds its own skin to the price point. So I think we actually want to encourage different companies and different manufacturers to go build what they think is the right device for the audience they are targeting. And obviously, we are built on top of Android at this point as well. As to how this specific project monetizes and locks in a user base that we think will get value from the product we are building, that is we're still kind of figuring that out. Too early to fully know how that will develop, but it is something we're thinking about.
Honestly, I would be so happy if some manufacturer would be like, "Hey, let's go, let's build a phone and sell it." Like, do it. That would be amazing.
Yeah, I was going to say the same, actually. Like, if we manage to, and in response, some major manufacturer makes a better, phone that serves like Web3, I think we win. If it's more centralized, I think we kind of lose there. But I do feel that the value proposition of the protocol, like the Web3 that we're dealing with, is that like the inclusiveness and permissionless nature of it is what makes it, valuable and better. And like if you try to, the more you try to like lock people in, the more you start to remove like the value of the potential of it. And so like I think will be a battle that somebody trying to create like a centralized version of it will be fighting. But that remains to be seen.
Yeah, it's almost the same situation that Tesla and Elon Musk were in, where they were giving out patents to other electric car manufacturers in order to advance the whole ecosystem. I think that's maybe a good way to look at it as well. I think we need to be doing things that are kind of pushing the envelope, pushing that verge, and expanding access to the Web3 space. And we really believe that ethOS will help bring more people into the space. And so if some other manufacturer comes in and installs ethOS in their phone, that's a huge win for us, like Mark said.
I just have a thought for everybody. Not sure if everyone's heard of Dapp Node. What they do is create a Linux-based operating system for kind of node operators, and it comes pre-installed with like a VPN and a UI and some other things. And I think maybe we can kind of look at what they've done as far as, I think they have some sort of like decentralized app store for node operators. They can kind of one click start running an ETH node on their machine. And they also sell like things like Intel NUCs with their operating system are pre-installed. So maybe just something that, another project where we can learn something from them, or maybe even try to get, someone from their community to provide guidance or just answer questions.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I actually talked to them quite a bit, the Dapp guys, and it's a parallel that I hadn't drawn before, but it is interesting that you bring it up. And they do have the same strategy as everything is like open and free, but then their business is to sell you the pre-configured boxes, which I've been eyeing, by the way, kind of tempted. But yeah, so very similar. Good advice. We'll talk to them.
Cool. Awesome.
Andrew, you want to quickly walk us through this prototype that Rahul made, or Rahul, if you want to walk us through?
Yeah, and I messaged Rahul a few minutes ago, and this is his design work, and I don't want any credit associated with this at all, because it's all Rahul's. Did a really great job. So Rahul, I'd be more than happy to have you commentate while I go through this, if you'd like.
It's all a team effort here, folks. But yeah, I mean, if you're having a hard time pulling it up, I can pull it up. Otherwise, feel free to keep going with it.
Okay, I've got it. I've got it I'm presenting my screen right now. So, cool. So Rahul, once again, kind of early on in this project, when we're envisioning ways that it might be beneficial for that this experience, that this capability of having a blockchain Ethereum integrated into the phone operating system itself. What kind of possibilities does that bring us? And Rahul imagined, what the startup sequence might look like, and having a native wallet connection. So you open up the phone, you get a greeting message, and then you have you get a prompt to import your wallet, or perhaps create a new wallet, and from here you could import your wallet, assign a password. And what we're really excited about is kind of the biometric access. And so what we're envisioning is that once you've set up your wallet, now you have a native wallet manager. So you're able to access your wallet from a system level with any of the applications on your phone is what we're envisioning. So a good example, is that let's say that we're trying to mint the newest NFT, as opposed to having to have a separate wallet app and perhaps use Wallet Connect or do all the kind of hacky things that you would have to do on an Android or an iOS device. We have a native wallet manager where you can very quickly access all of your apps. So I'm minting this. I choose which wallet I want to connect. Because we're integrated at the operating system level, we can add things like biometric verification, so I can authenticate with my thumbprint, and we have minted ourselves a brand new chain runner. So that's one question that we get a lot from people who are wanting to contribute to this project from a design sense, is that knowing the kind of the functionality and limitations that we're looking at, get creative, prototype some features that you yourself would like to use, and send them over to us, and we can talk about them. And I think that's really what's going to be useful if you want to contribute from a design sense. We've also got, Joe was talking a little bit about our app store, and we've done a little bit of design work on the app store. I think that the goal here is that we're trying to kind of reimagine what an app store experience might look like from a Web3 point of view. And so, iOS and the Google Play Store, they're kind of pigeonholed into what they're utilizing for design strategies. We feel like we're kind of restarting from scratch. So we've done a lot of exploring and a lot of prototyping, and this is something that we're working on too. And then we've also got Stipe's been working on the developer portal, and so if you're a developer who's wanting to submit your Android app to our Dapp store, and we're actually calling it our ethOS app store, then we've created the developer portal that's pretty straightforward, where you can upload your APK and all of your Dapp information, and it will then get listed onto the app store. So yeah, just a couple of things that we're working on from a design point of view. But yeah, like I said earlier, the biggest thing is that if you're a designer interested in contributing, I would recommend prototype a feature, even if it's really basic, and then post it on the Discord, and we can have a chat about it. And as we progress throughout this project, we'll have more design tasks that come up, and we'll definitely need more help in that area.
Well, awesome. Thanks for sharing on questions or thoughts on what we shared before.
I just wanted to say the design looks really good. Thank you, Rahul. Looks really awesome.
I appreciate that. And I did want to just pipe in a little bit about the earlier question about, the 10x better experience over existing options like, existing Android. And I think it was fun while designing that. I think that there's going to be some big unlocks that ethOS has by allowing developers to do more and connect at the OS level. But I think there's also a million little things that we can do along the way that are these sort of delight features that users will have as a result of being on a native Ethereum operating system. Things like having NFTs as your wallpaper, or having the ability to show the status of a transaction in the header of the status bar, little things like that, or having a GUI widget on the home screen. Little things like that, I think, will start to really show that, hey, when you have a native Ethereum experience, you can really start to do the big things and build fundamentally new apps, but you can also do all the little things that just makes this so much better of an experience on a day-to-day basis. So it was fun to design, and yeah, excited to see what other people come up with as they get involved here.
Cool. We're almost at time. So any last questions? Otherwise, we'll send out a summary and the links we shared, and we'll catch you guys on the next community call.
The only other thing I wanted to mention is that for anybody attending the call right now, we've got a survey that we'll post in our general chat after the call ends. Please, if you would, fill out the survey. We'll use, it's a very short survey. It's under 10 questions, and we'll use the feedback to inform our design and development decisions. It helps us out tremendously.
Awesome. One quick question. Is there, I'm trying to think of like an app that maybe Apple and Google have censored that is generally like something that people should be able to use and is kind of like a safe app. Just something that might be like a good example of like, I don't know, like previous, I think maybe Fortnite got banned from both those app stores for a while. Maybe we could kind of like use something like that in our designs or showcase.
OpenSea is a good one. OpenSea have been trying for have a native like buy experience, but right now everything you see on their app is like pop you to the website and then go through all the pain points there from your browser.
Okay.
That would be a nice one. And that's like the most visible safe one type thing.
Okay.
But it's a good idea. I don't know. Like if you have if you think of other ones, post them up and we'll try to kind of work with them, or at least like show what could be done to this team that will spark interest.
I'll try to look into like what are some of the most popular and reputable side-loaded apps.
Yeah.
Cool. I think that's about it then. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for joining the call, and hope to see you on the next one.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks,
Thank
everyone.
you. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks.